You will find that England, Scotland, and Ireland together make a great destination that you can visit in about 3 weeks. Here we're showing you highlights of the journey, and during the program we'll have many suggestions about how you can see these beautiful places on your own. You can join day trips, take boat rides, we'll bring you up to the Lake District, and get a taste of history. I've led many group tours and have learned a lot of tricks and techniques that I'll be sharing with you in the program that you can use for yourself in your own journey. You surely want to visit Edinburgh, walk the Royal Mile, go to the cafes, and don't forget Ireland. Take a boat to Inishmore and see the wild Irish cliffs and rugged beauty of the landscape. Galway City provides a nice diversion. There'll be prehistoric stone structures. Kylemore Abbey is a jewel set on a lake. Another highlight is Kinsale, down south with its colorful buildings. And of course, Dublin, Ireland's capital and seat of culture and learning. The grandest city of all has to be London, a place of great architecture, old traditions, and modern life, packed with major attractions, and perhaps a royal sighting. Our grand tour of the British Isles starts in London, continues to Bath, then north to York, then driving across up to the Lake District, continuing north to Edinburgh, Scotland, and then we fly over to Ireland to Galway, Dingle, down to Kinsale, and back up to Dublin. It's an amazing and comprehensive journey. Here comes a quick 1-minute summary of our 3 days in London. We like the city tour on an open-top bus. It takes a few hours. We'll visit the Tower of London, most popular attraction in the country, and take a boat ride on the River Thames. Walking the pedestrian-friendly streets of the central city will be a great joy. Covent Garden, Mayfair, and Soho. And of course, there'll always be some free time. You can go shopping or wander at will. We can visit the British Museum, famous for its Egyptian, Greek, and Roman collections. Changing the guard with the colorful marching band is always a big attraction. Other highlights include Trafalgar Square, Oxford Street, Bond Street, and Piccadilly Circus at the very center of the city. The National Gallery and Westminster Abbey will appeal to fans of art and architecture. Our centrally located hotel makes it easy to see the best of London. Getting to Bath is an easy ride, just an hour and a half away by train. The city of Bath is England's second most popular visitor destination after London. Bath is a town of supreme harmony, constructed mostly during the 18th century with beautiful cream-colored limestone in the Georgian style of architecture. Along with the urban beauty, there are numerous historic sites and many quiet lanes containing hundreds of little shops that produces an awesome combination that'll keep you happy for several days. The town center has a human scale with low-rise buildings and quiet streets lined with shops and galleries, ideal for strolling, all contained in a relatively small area, only about 1,000 meters in one direction and 500 meters in the other. We can also take a day trip out into the countryside. The Cotswold district in south-central England is famous for its green rolling hills and especially for its honey-colored stone villages. We're starting our explorations in perhaps the most beautiful village in all of the Cotswolds, and perhaps in all of England, or the world for that matter. It's Castlecombe, a perfect postcard village. We'll have a choice of a full-day excursion visiting half a dozen of these charming places, or you can do it in a half day and get back to Bath for more sightseeing. That's why we stay in Bath for 2 full days. Moving along, we're just getting started with many more wonderful places to visit. We're taking you to York, one of the most historic cities in England. It's easy to get to York. There's wonderful train service. We'll be showing you the great old buildings, some street entertainment. The city of York is England's finest example of a medieval town. So well preserved that it looks like you took a wrong turn somewhere back in 1335 and got stuck in time when you walk down these narrow lanes lined with the ancient original buildings. It's like walking through an outdoor museum, but it's very much a lively and functioning city. The three top sites really are walking on the wall and doing the Castle Museum and the Minster, the great cathedral. The heart of town is completely free of automobiles, dedicated entirely to the pedestrian, filled with beautifully preserved buildings. This is not just a couple of streets without traffic, but an entire zone with a dozen small lanes that you can easily navigate on your own without fear of getting lost. And now our private van is going to drive us across England from York over to the Lake District. The Lake District in northwest England is a very popular holiday destination, famous for its lakes and forests, mountains, and quaint villages. It was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2017. 4 of the top activities are exploring the town, taking a boat ride, do a little nature walking, and do a driving tour of the region to see the other nearby lakes and quaint villages. The town of Bowness is a great base of operations for heading out to see the other lakes in the district. Bowness, combined with Windermere, is the largest town in the Lake District, but it still has a village charm. Our hotel, the Burn How, is typical of British country accommodations. There's a breakfast room. You'll have your fried eggs and sausage and baked beans and baked tomatoes with toast and coffee or tea, and have a great start for the morning. Very British. Packing up for a drive north to Scotland. There is no direct train service, so we're fortunate we still have our private van to take us there, with more nice scenery along the way. Edinburgh, Scotland is another one of Europe's truly great cities. A place noted for historic sites and modern culture that makes it one of the most popular destinations in the world. The main street that visitors love to see is the Royal Mile, loaded with shops, restaurants, statues, monuments, and great old buildings, and lots of street entertainment to please the crowds. The pub culture is alive and well here, a great place for a drink and to meet some locals. It seems that the Royal Mile is just one restaurant after another, mixed in with a few shops and old historic buildings. Edinburgh Castle, of course, is the most famous site in Edinburgh. A must for every visitor, and it will not disappoint. From down below looking up, you get that iconic postcard view of the castle up on its rock. Princess Street Gardens are a delight to stroll through. Get on down into the pathway and enjoy the floral displays. And you can get a big dose of history in the National Museum of Scotland, which is loaded with natural history and cultural artifacts. If you like art history, then the National Gallery is another must place to visit. The other very popular historical museum, the Britannia, the royal yacht of Queen Elizabeth. And it's like the Queen just stepped out for a moment. The furnishings are just the way she left them. We exit the ship and prepare to leave the country, taking a direct flight from Edinburgh to Dublin to begin our tour of the green nation of Ireland, arriving in 90 minutes. Ireland is a small country blessed with a rich variety of wonderful sights, most famous for its green rolling hills, history, friendly people, and Guinness. Their brewery is the top visitor attraction in the country. We'll show you that and much more in this comprehensive look at Ireland. We'll bring you inside prehistoric stone structures in Dingle. We'll take a trip out to the Aran Islands by ferry, a remote place with a great many archaeological sites, traditional culture, and spectacular sea cliffs. We'll be visiting small villages along the way, from Clifton to Kinsale, a southern village with an ancient stone fort. Our 3 main destinations will be Dingle, Galway, and of course Dublin, capital of the country, a great center of culture, learning, and nightlife. Dublin is a wonderful city, but don't make the mistake when you're visiting Ireland of only going to Dublin. There's so much more to see. On the map, we'll give you a quick preview of our entire itinerary, taking 8 days to make a leisurely circuit all the way around the country. Our first major destination is Galway and Connemara, where we stay for 3 nights. We took our ferry ride out to the main island of the Aran Islands, Inishmore, where you can get around by horse and cart, or bicycle, or van tour. For the entire 8 days, we were in the capable hands of our Irish driver and guide, Martin Wolfe, who's going to describe some of our route.
We left Galway City, we came out through Ordenmore. From Ordenmore, we came into Kinvara, turned right in Kinvara, and we went down through the Burren in County Clare.
From the Burren, it's a rather short drive to what is the most popular natural attraction in all of Ireland. It's the spectacular Cliffs of Moher. The area's extreme beauty has made it a big magnet for most Irish tourists.
From the Cliffs of Moher, we came down the west coast of Clare, and from Kilrush we caught our ferry across the River Shannon and came into North Kerry. We stopped in Tralee, we had a look at the gardens in Tralee, and on into Dingle, on the Dingle Peninsula. We done our tour of Dingle Peninsula, Vintry, Ballyferreter, all on the Dingle Peninsula.
Dingle is out on this peninsula, a little bit hard to get to, and yet it's one of the nicest places in Ireland. It's a small town, and it's got the beautiful natural countryside, and there's historic sites, including prehistoric stone houses, the beehive huts, and a very early church, the Gallerus Oratory. It's not on the tourist route as much as more famous places like Killarney and Galway and Dublin and Cork, giving it a peaceful charm. Continuing south, we stop at a 3-mile-long beach, ironically called Inch, and then carry on through Killarney, where we stop for a while to have a walk around town and take a ride in a horse carriage called the jaunting cart. And then we continue driving another couple of hours down south to Kinsale, a picturesque town on the waterfront with colorful buildings and a nice little pedestrian zone. From Kinsale, we take the final leg of our journey through the British Isles up to Dublin, capital of the country. Ending up in Dublin was a perfect way to finish the visit because we've had a whole week out in the west of Ireland enjoying the greenery and the little villages and the historic sites. We end up with some big city action. Dublin is a modern city with lots to offer. There's a variety of neighborhoods. You've got some busy downtown streets. You've got your pedestrian zones and green parks. Quiet places you can sit and feed the birds like on St. Stephen's Green. And nightlife over at Temple Bar. Many restaurants and pubs with Irish music. This has been a brief summary of our tour through the British Isles. We have longer movies about each of these destinations in our collection, so be sure to take a look. As you can tell from the many wonderful sights that we've seen, this is a trip that you would really enjoy.